Now we're going to hear from the Duke Reporters Lab team, which will be represented by Bill and Joel. I think you are going to take the stage individually, right? One by one, I guess. All right. Okay, you will do your show. And, you know, we will be also having a workshop dedicated to the Duke Reporters Lab, mostly focusing on automated fact-checking, but I think today's talk will be a great, start for the newcomers of the field, of the Claimreview. So let's hear from Bill on what we do currently with the Claimreview.
Great. All right. Thanks. Bye, Bars. Appreciate it. So I just want to introduce Joel Luther. Joel is the manager of our Claimreview project, which you're going to be hear about today, and our whoops. There we go. Okay. So today we're going to talk about Claimreview. Those of you who were at Global Fact 5 in that giant crowd in front of the Vatican will remember some of this, but a lot has changed. And there's been a big realization about Claimreview, I think, that a lot of us have come to since Rome, and that is that Claimreview is the secret sauce of fact-checking. And so I'm going to tell you about that today, and then Joel is going to tell you about how easy it is to make it if you're not making it, and it's amazing what we're able to do now with Claimreview. So first, what is Claimreview? So we're going to talk about what it is, how it's used, how it could be used in the future, and how to make it. Okay. The up one? Okay. I was going the wrong direction. So first, just a little history. Claimreview actually started thanks to Glenn Kessler, who is sitting right here, and it grew, like so many things do, out of a meeting with sitting. I don't know. I have this vision that you were in Valencia, Spain, right? And you were like sipping coffee, and Glenn mentions to an executive from the Google Ideas Lab, what later became Jigsaw, hey, you should highlight fact checks and search results. And that's what led to Claimreview. And I was brought in to help in my role at Duke and as sort of the liaison to the fact-checking community, and developed Claimreview along with schema.org, which is sort of, I think of schema.org as the Dewey Decimal System of the web. The Dewey Decimal System, at least in the United States, is the way that libraries keep track of books, and schema.org creates the way that websites keep track of stuff. Jigsaw, which used to be the Google Ideas Lab, is sort of an R&D lab for good that Alphabet, the parent company of Google, owns. So we all got together and we developed this standard in an open way. So schema.org is an open process. Microsoft is part of it. Anyone can comment. The things happen on GitHub, and so it's open. And I think that's important. This is not just done for any one entity. And I think what we've seen is that this benefits everybody. Okay, what is Claimreview, you ask? Well, is it... having the hardest time here. Is it a tagging system that makes it easier for search engines to find fact-check articles? Is it a way for fact-checkers to standardize fact-checking content for apps and new technologies? Oh, don't give it away. Is it the secret sauce? Is it all of the above? Yes, it's all of the above. So, as I said, what we've learned as we've done this is that Claimreview is able to do things that we never thought about. And think of it this way. What Claimreview does is it takes your fact-check articles, representing all your different websites published in lots of different formats, and it creates a standard way that a search engine, Facebook, an app, any technology can find that fact check and classify it and keep it and find it later. So that's really valuable because we're all different, we all use different publishing systems, but it has created a common way for machines, people, technologies to find your fact checks. That is really valuable. So you may remember this slide from last year. I think of it like a neon sign. Claimreview is a neon sign that says, hey, Google and Bing, this is a fact check. And of course, there are more search engines than just Google and Bing. I was in South Korea last July, and there is a search engine there I hadn't heard of before, Naver. That is the dominant search engine in South Korea. I know there are others around the world. Claimreview can work for any search engine. So originally, when we created Claimreview, we used embedded code that embeds in your articles and tells the search engines the speaker statement, conclusion of your fact check, and a variety of other things. That still works. That was sort of version 1.0. But we have since, and we mentioned this in Rome, we got together with Google and developed another way that is easier. Because one of the things we found is that it can be hard for many of you in your publishing systems, in your CMSs, to make Claimreview, to set up, to change your CMSs. And so we made this easy way of making Claimreview that Google calls the markup tool. So you're creating markup. That's what we're going to show you today, how to use this to basically create a database entry into a publicly available database on datacommons.org. So datacommons.org is like schema.org, an entity where you can log your fact checks so that they can be found by other people. So what do you get for this? So you get highlighted in Google. Search engines highlight your fact checks and search results, and they do it like this. They break out the claim, the speaker, what the rating was, and that would be if you search something that brings up the fact check. Same thing in the case of Bing. Also, both Bing and Google have fact check features. So on Google News, it shows up as a fact check feature here. This is the Google News homepage. If you go to it on your desktop computer, this is a permanent thing. And it's a good way to see the latest fact checks that have Claimreview on them that Google chooses to put up here. Now, this gets to the interesting question of, well, could anyone put Claimreview on an article to try to get highlighted in Google? Sure. Who has tried to do this in the most creative way? Porn sites. Although I haven't actually looked to see what exactly they say the speaker is or what the claim is, but they have tried to do this because word spread that this is a way to get your work highlighted in Google search. And so they're like, hey, let's try to get some more traffic. But Google chooses not to highlight those sites in the fact check feature on its Google News page. Here is Bing's. Bing uses some nice graphics. They pull in images for the fact checks. Other things. So as we've been working at Duke, you may know that our automated fact-checking project, the Tech and Check Cooperative, has a variety of products. And one here is FactStream. FactStream is our iOS app, and we use Claimreview in a couple of ways for the iOS app, basically to populate what you see on FactStream, which renders as a nice summary of the fact check, and then fact checkers, and then our users can click through to see the fact check. We used it initially when we created FactStream for live events, and we used Claimreview to populate the form so that our fact-checking partners didn't have to fill out the entire form. And we have since realized that Claimreview is this rich database of all the fact checks, and so we've used it in our new product that you may have heard about, Squash. Before I get to Squash, I want to tell you about Google also uses all the fact checks in a feature that it recently made public called Fact Check Explorer that allows you to search just the fact checks. So you're searching just the articles that have Claimreview. So if you look up Fact Check Explorer, do you happen to know the URL? I'm not even sure if it may have a URL like google.com/factcheck. Toolbox.google. There you go. /factcheck. Okay. It's very intuitive. So, yeah, if somebody could tweet that at the GlobalFact6 hashtag. So, who is using Claimreview? We found 77. So, as you may know, the Reporters Lab, we count the fact-checking sites in the world. Mark Stencil heads that project, and our latest fact-checking census had 188 fact-checking sites. We now think we're probably up to about 200. So of those, about 77 are using Claimreview, and you can see the breakdown there, 4 in Africa, 25 in Asia, 28, and we've had a lot of growth in Asia, particularly in India, in the last few months because of the election in India. 28 in Europe, 16 in North America, 8 in South America, and just 1 in Australia. Is that you, Russell? You guys are not using Claimreview? So my goal here today is to get you all to use it. Claimreview keeps growing, just like fact-checking. On average, 58 entries are made every day. And then here's a look just globally. We've got one here in South Africa, Africa Check, and then some of the other Africa Check partners, and then 14 in India, which is tied with the United States for the country with the most. So it's kind of cool. We've had some good spread around the globe, but still a lot of you are not using it, and so we want to just tell you about it. So a few more cool facts about it. 32,000 fact checks are now tagged with Claimreview, which is really impressive. Then Kathy and Joel made this slide. I love this slide. The most common words in the rating. So that Joel downloaded all the Claimreview entries and found, of course, false was number 1. Falso, right up there also. And this is to me, I'm not a huge fan of word clouds, but you could look at this one for a long time and see a lot of things in terms of what fact checkers put into the rating field. So the rating field in Claimreview can be as simple as true, false, half true, whatever. But some fact checkers also will put a sentence in there explaining their conclusion. And you see Pinocchio's pretty big from Glenn's site. So anyway, this I think is really cool. We should make this into a t-shirt. So who makes the most? I thought this was fascinating and a testament to the growth in India. I'm not familiar with the Brazilian site.
It's us. Wow, it's just because it's the wrong URL. Yeah. It's wrong. It's us.
Oh.
Claimreview is wrong.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So So this is what you enter when you enter Claimreview, and you saw the form. It's actually really quick. It takes about, how long do you think it takes to do one entry? 30 seconds. 30 seconds of your life to make one entry of Claimreview, and look at all the joy it will give you. It's just such a wonderful thing. So I want to just show you an example of this exciting new thing, and if you're interested in, obviously we've had a lot of little mentions here and there of different automation projects, and we're going to have a workshop tomorrow on automation, and if you're interested, I hope you'll come. There's some exciting things that are happening around the world in automation. You heard from Pablo, and there's some other projects, including Squash. So Squash is a project that we're doing at Duke that is, to me, the biggest, most ambitious thing that I've tackled in automation, because what it does is we detect what the person says on a video or TV, and then we match it against our Claimreview database instantly, and then we pop up a fact check right on the screen. So it is live fact checking, automated, so no human is involved, although we may have humans get involved, but the whole idea is that eventually, as this gets better, that we will run this 24/7 on whatever, cable television, our public affairs network, C-SPAN, and just have fact checks pop up instantly on the TV screen. So I just want to show you a quick demo, and just so that you can realize the potential for Claimreview, that it can do this. So this is a still frame, and then you're going to see it live. And I hope, Bybars, do we have audio plugged into this laptop? Yes. Okay. So, so what you're going to hear is an excerpt from the State of the Union address from back in January, early February. And Donald Trump is going to make a claim about immigration, a claim very similar to this that you see on the screen. And our technology, which is Google Cloud, similar to what Pablo uses, is going to hear what he says, translate it to text, match it against our Claimreview database, which will find this fact check that PolitiFact had done a month earlier that was nearly identical to what Trump said at the State of the Union. And so Squash said, oh, that's what Trump said a month ago, and that's similar, and it matched it and popped it up. And I should point out our team that helped create this. Chris Guess, where are you? Chris Guess is our lead technologist who's working on this project, and Erica Ryan is our project manager, making all this possible. So anyway, going to show just about a 90-second, not even, very short clip here.
In the last 2 years, our brave ICE officers made 266,000 arrests of criminal aliens, including those charged or convicted of nearly 100,000 assaults, 30,000 sex crimes, and 4,000 killings or murders. We are joined tonight by one of those law enforcement heroes, ICE Special Agent Elvin Hernandez. When Elvin...
So what happened there was entirely automatic and shows the potential for Claimreview, that as long as we all contribute to a database of fact checks, and these fact checks are made available to our new technologies, we can have things like this that provide instant information to people. And when we created Claimreview, we had no idea that this was the kind of thing we would do, or at least I didn't. Mark Stencil was the one who, after we had started Claimreview, reminded me that this was a possibility, that we were creating this database. And I was like, oh yeah, right. That was part of the vision. But it really was not part of the vision, because it grew out of this conversation where we were thinking very much about search. But we've created something really, really powerful here. And so our goal is just to tell you about it, encourage you to use it, and encourage you, if you're not using it, come to our workshop later today or talk to Joel. You can also go to our website, which is claimreviewproject.org, and we'll have that up here at the end, I think, right? A couple other uses. Facebook uses Claim Review with its third-party fact-checking. Some other potential future uses: linkage to TV content, like things that we're only beginning to think about. Linkage to online video through some more partnerships with YouTube. I think just in the last month, I think we've realized that for whether it's a deep fake, whether it's a cheap fake, whether it's any video that you fact check, that we need to come up with some new standards for how you enter the information from your fact checks into Claim Review. So we're going to be talking about that with Facebook and Google, and then with you to see how we can develop a common way to do that. This is also a way that people can create scorecards for politicians, for entities that get fact-checked. So if there are, if you and other fact-checkers fact-check the same news site that publishes false news articles, it can build a track record for that website. Developers could normalize ratings, develop an app or website that provides a universal report card. There's a lot of consumer interest in report cards. I know there's some methodological questions about doing them. We've always wrestled with that. But PolitiFact had an example in 2016 where the New York Times did a very small summary graphic of PolitiFact's ratings on presidential candidates that was shared thousands of times. I mean, just remember that one? It was just... so, you know, there's a lot of interest in these sort of common report cards. Developers could boost a new genre with claims for pundits and publications. I'm going to show you something about that in a minute. And there's also a field called claim appearance. And this is something that has not been used consistently because we haven't given you good direction about how to use it. But this is the URL for the document where the claim appears. So in other words, if you're fact-checking a claim in a speech by a politician, you would put in the URL of that speech. It might be the written speech, it might be a video of the speech. And this would allow, at scale, someone to know, hey, that URL has a lot of falsehoods from it, or multiple fact checkers have found lots of falsehoods from that URL. That's really powerful. And if you think about when there are multiple fact checkers contributing that information and you have the benefit of not just one, you can really see how that could be valuable. Okay, I want to go quickly because I want to make sure we have time for Joel. All right, do you want to go and do the demo, and then we'll have just a few minutes for questions?
Sure.
Fire away.
So this slide here is the website that Bill mentioned earlier, and on it we've collected some guidance, like a user guide and some best practices. So as you're making Claim Review, you might have questions and need some help, and so this is a great resource for you. Claimreviewproject.com, claimreviewproject.org, all of the domains point to the same place. And I'm going to click through and click this Make Claim Review button at the top.
And that's my bookmarks, right?
And you've gone to what website, Joel?
So I just went to the Claim Review Project site, and then clicked Make Claim Review, and that took me to the fact check markup tool, which is the tool that Google launched in March of this year to make it a little bit easier for fact checkers to make claim reviews so that they're not copying and pasting code into their CMS anymore. So we're going to do a demo. As a disclaimer, we say that it takes 30 seconds, but I'm going to be explaining things as we go, so please don't time me. This first field, I just entered the URL for where I've published my fact checks. That would be the link to the fact check you published. And then you're presented with all of these fields. It's very simple. Just enter it. The date that you published your fact check will say today. The name of your organization. And then the claim you reviewed. So this is the statement or claim that was made that you've checked to see if it's true or not. So we're going to use a hopefully non-contentious example and say, the world is flat. And that was claimed a week ago. And we entered the claim appearance. So that's a document or a website where the claim appears. So we'll say that appeared on the Flat Earth Society website. This is the name of the person or organization that made the claim. We're not using job titles here. So if it's a politician, we don't need to say President Donald Trump. We can just say Donald Trump. And there are a couple of reasons for that. In this case, we'll just say it's an organization and it's the Flat Earth Society. And we rated that claim false. And we're going to enter that in the rating text field. And then if you click this button that says Show More Fields, you can enter some optional information. None of this is required, but you can enter it. This first field allows you to link to a specific part of the page. So if you want to go straight to your conclusion, you can have that there. Where the location was made, this is language that tells you, oh, it was on their website, or in an interview with a certain news publication. The job title of the person that made the claim. We can link to an image of the person that made the claim. And then here we have a numeric rating field. So this is not required, and it causes a lot of confusion among fact checkers. If you don't use a rating system, you don't have to fill this out at all. But if you do, we just ask that you be consistent. So typically, people think that the lowest rating is false and the highest rating is true. So we'll say that the lowest rating is a 1, highest rating is 5, and we're giving this a 1 because it's false. And we can also link to an image of the rating. So if we're using truthometers or Pinocchios, we can link to an image of that will show up in different products. So after we filled it out, we just hit Create. And then it is instantly submitted to the Data Commons feed and instantly indexable by social media platforms and search engines. And now we have a nice summary view of it, and we can go in to any of our fact check articles and edit the markup directly from the markup tool and see all of them directly there. 30 seconds.
All right. Joel, that was so remarkably fast. Anyway, so just to wrap up, I just want to encourage you, if you have questions, contact Joel, come to our workshop. Bars, we got time for just a couple right now, or what?
Yeah, I mean, we can have a question.
All right. Questions? We got one in the back, over here, and then up here.
Hello, it's Walid Al-Sakaf from Södertörn University in Sweden. I'm actually in charge of a journalism program, and part of my work is to teach the students how to do fact-checking. And I've actually referred to Claimreview last year to them, and I'm glad that it has come a long way. One thing that we're working on right now, and I have a workshop, maybe heads up on Friday, on how to build a blockchain-based registry on claim reviews. One thing that we are skeptical about is when you rely on a certain service, such as Google, you're putting a lot of your eggs in one basket, because that's where your database would more or less be in existence. And that prevents tracking, for example, when a particular claim was edited, a claim review was edited or changed. You can't go back in time like Wikipedia, for example, other forms. We understand how it evolved over time. So what contingency measures does the community have in making this much more, let's say, broad in its perspective and not dependent on one entity?
You bet. Great question. And that's something that Chris and our team have talked about a lot. So, first of all, full disclosure, I should have said this at the beginning. Google has supported our work, so has Facebook. But they have also done so with the recognition that we're independent and everything we're doing is independent. So what sort of things can you do to ensure that independence? First of all, you can download the database. You can download all 32,000 fact checks as Joel did last week. And you can do that on an ongoing basis. So this is collecting the Claimreview database is not that difficult. Now, it depends on. So you collected them from. Were you collecting the ones that were also embedded on websites because they showed up in the Google API?
Right.
Okay, so Joel got them from the Google API where they show up. In terms of them being edited, I don't think that Claimreview entries actually get edited once they're in that database. But what we've talked about and will do regularly is to make sure that everything is backed up so that there is no single entity, not Google, not Facebook, that is keeping this. I know we won't be the only ones. This is not that big a database. You're carrying it on your hard drive. So, this is not that big a thing. So I'm with you, and I think we're all committed to that. Down here?
I'm afraid there might be something wrong with. I'm afraid there might be something wrong with the way your tool is picking up the data for Claimreview. We have been using this for 1 year, and right now anybody in the room can check this, that if you just type India fact check, so first 4 results are from India today. On your result, it is not reflected anywhere, not even the 5 list. So I'm afraid there's.
Okay, I don't think I understand your point. So are you saying that in search results in India, your articles with Claimreview don't show up high in search results?
No, in the Google it shows, but here where you are showing it is not reflecting. Right now anybody can type in India fact check. So the first 4 results are from India Today fact check. In your list it is not reflecting anywhere, even the first 5. So I'm afraid that.
Oh, you mean the ones that were in my top 5?
That's right, yeah.
Oh.
This gentleman from Bangladesh picked up the data from you and he.
Yeah,
totally
we just had a snapshot in time when they were the top 5. They're probably not the top 5 now.
Right.
Yeah. So, I probably should have made that clear. That was when we happened to look at, and that was right in the heat of India's election. So I should have given the date range for that. Good fact check, though. I appreciate that.
Hi, Bill and Joel. Saurabh Shukla from News Mobile Fact Checker. Can we do it for the fact checks which are already published? So can we do it now as well?
Yes. So yes. In other words, if you've already published a fact check, that might have been published a month or 2 months ago, can you create Claimreview for it? Yes, absolutely. And I was talking to the New York Times about doing this because they were interested to go back and create Claimreview for theirs to archive, in effect, archive them. Yes, absolutely. And particularly, you would want to do that for fact checks that you think people might want to search for and, that would have good archival value. Great. Probably have time for one more?
Yeah. Just one more.
How about right here? Oops. All right, we'll do 2 more. Maybe here and... Yes?
Hi, I'm a fact checker from Taiwan, and our organization also use the function. But now I have to key in the report myself, and I'm curious about the function of URL appearance because I have to find out all of URL from internet and then key in myself. So I want to ask if any other easier way to key in, and is it useful for the run claim of the URL appearance?
I don't think I understand. So this is the claim appearance field, and you're asking, and I don't understand that.
I just want to ask the function of URL appearance.
The structure of it. Okay.
Yes.
So it's just you just paste a URL for where the claim appeared that you are fact checking. So it would be http:// or https:// the URL. Great. All right. Well, again, thank you, and please come to our workshop and be happy to answer any more questions. And enjoy lunch, which is
yeah, I was just gonna say
from
that.
the
I mean,
Claimreview
in addition to the cool features, Claimreview, offer to fact checkers, they also buy lunch. So the upcoming lunch is supported and sponsored by Claimreview. They are also a part of the Global Facts 6 supporters. So you may have already seen in the back page of your book list that Duke Reporters Lab have been supporting the Global Facts 6. Along with other global facts, so we also appreciate that for that one too.
And if you you should have gotten a journal in your bag, a book, a white journal that says Claimreview Project. If you did not, because we only got them in about half the bags, there are plenty more downstairs. Feel free to take one.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.